Chris Gauser here with
Matt Howell.
And on this episode of The First Run, Matt and I are going to discuss the critical darling, Moonlight. Another film, Matt, from First Run favorite studio A24. Do they keep their streak alive? And is this film as great as everybody says it is? We'll also discuss another little hidden gem that came out earlier this year, and that is Sing Street, the latest from the director who brought us Once and Begin Again. Matt, we're also going to do our holiday gift guide for 2016. So that's a lot to do. I'm kind of excited, but Matt, there's a lot of pressure on this show, and we'll get into why. But let's start everything off with a clip from Moonlight.
Who is you, Sharon?
For a long time, try not to remember. Try to forget all those times.
At some point, you gotta decide for yourself who you gonna be. Can't let nobody make that decision for you.
You gonna tell him why the other boys kick his ass all the time? What's wrong?
I'm good.
No, I done seen good. And you ain't it.
Remember the last time I saw you?
You're my only. I'm your only. No. You gonna listen.
To who, Ma? Huh? To you? Who is you, man? I ain't seen you in like a decade. It's not what I expected. What did you expect?
So Matt, Moonlight is a story of Little, Sharon, and Black. It's a story of a young man at three pivotal points in his life as he tries to negotiate his life and find out who he is. The film currently sits at a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, Matt, and it's considered to be one of the best films of the year. Dare I say, according to some critics, transcendent and possibly one of the best films ever made. That's weighty, heavy expectations, Matt. And I got to tell you, the first time I saw this trailer, the trailer itself moved me. And I was thinking, there's no way this film can possibly live up to all those expectations. Let me ask you, Matt, first off, were your expectations, I think is how it's pronounced, were they as high for you as they were for me? And where did you land? Where do you think?
So I had high expectations after seeing the trailer. I thought the trailer was fantastic. I loved the music in it. I loved the way they kind of positioned everything where you knew what was going on, but they kind of left it ambiguous. The actual film itself, I don't know if it's the best film ever made, and I don't know if it's transcendent as I was expecting it to be based on all the critical buzz. It's good. It's really good. But I don't know. There was something about it that I couldn't connect with.
Huh. I find that's interesting to me. I got to tell you, man, this thing had me riveted from beginning to end. It's for me, this was just, and are you ready? Because you love when I get pretentious.
I've been waiting for it for the past month because we're getting into Oscar season now.
Here's what I wrote. A work of heartbreaking beauty, Matt. Which I don't think is too much, right?
No, it's not too bad. It's no every gesture is an earthquake.
That's good. I'm glad I was able to restrain myself somewhat. But this thing is a searing portrait of a young man trying to discover who he is in a world that basically wants nothing more to do than to tear him apart. And him coming to terms with who he is, which I don't know if he ever really truly does. Really. Maybe in the end. But his inner struggle as he's going through all of this, it was just so exceptionally honest and genuine. I really think there's going to be 3 or 4 award nominations out of this easily. I think that Naomi Harris, for right now, is possibly a shoo-in for an Academy Award as his mother, as the crack-addicted mother. She is just sad and heartbreaking, much like the rest of this film is. all three actors who play our lead throughout the three pivotal moments in his life, also just fantastic, man. This thing is just... I feel like one of the notes I wrote down too is that truly for me this is cinematic poetry. It's almost lyrical for me, the way the thing plays out. I was captivated. I was moved to tears a couple times, just choking it back. I was watching all of this because it never sensationalizes anything either, right? Because he's growing up in a really rough area. When he's really young, he's taken under the wing of this local drug dealer. And what I think what the film is so brilliant with, and that's played, of course, by, what's his name? Mahershala Ali, who's, you may know him from House of Cards. I think that's what he's most famous for the most part. But the way the film humanizes everybody, even the bad people, I think is fantastic. And it really does a fantastic job of portraying this world and showing that everything is gray. Nothing is black and white. People do what they have to do to survive. They hide who they are to survive. And it's, I don't know, it was absolutely beautiful. I need to see this again. I have to, as soon as I can. But not for you.
Well, so here's the thing. This is one of those films for me that I can appreciate the craft of it. I appreciate the acting. I think you're absolutely right as far as a piece of visual poetry. You're spot on with that just by the realness of the story. I think you're correct. But this thing, watching it, almost gave me anxiety, like watching this character go through all this stuff. And I just wanted him to kind of, I don't know, I was just kind of constantly rooting for him to break free or to kind of turn, which and it did towards the end, but and I guess that speaks to its realness, but it's not one of these things that I'm going to be like, I really want to watch that again, because I don't know if it was an enjoyable experience to kind of feel that, for lack of a better term, kind of apprehension while I'm watching this, waiting for something either A, horrible to happen, or B, something maybe a little bit more transcendent to happen. So, I mean, and maybe it'll be a different experience since I already know everything that's going to happen in the film. But I don't know. I can't say I enjoyed myself while I was watching it.
I don't think that's the point. I don't think you're supposed to... I don't know if it's there for you to enjoy what you're viewing. You're experiencing this. And I think just like you said, of the realism, that's not how life works, right? Life doesn't give you the happy endings. Everything doesn't wrap up for you the way you hope it's going to. And I think that would do the film a disservice if it ended the way maybe we're kind of hoping it does. So I think that just adds to the emotional impact of the film.
But, and I don't disagree that that's not the point, but I guess for me personally, it's not something I'm going to go rush out and watch again. I mean, very early on in this run of this show that's been going on for a ridiculously long amount of time, we did a movie called Blue Valentine, and I had the same feelings about it. I mean, it was a very real and honest look at the beginnings of a relationship and the kind of, funness of that, plus, later on down the line. But I've never watched that movie again. I appreciated it, that it was a good film, and this is the same kind of thing. Like, I'm not going to sit down and be like, man, I'm going to watch Moonlight again, and then I'm going to bust out Blue Valentine, and then I'm going to wrap it all up with some Schindler's List, just to really kind of
don't forget
put this all back together. And 12 Years a Slave. Hey, why don't we bring in Birth of a Nation into all this? Let's just wallow in well-made films that just make me feel bad about myself and humanity. So that's all I'm saying. I mean, I didn't enjoy it in the sense that I had a good time watching it, but I appreciated it.
But that's not... see, here's where I get stuck. I feel like that's not a fair thing to say.
Why not?
It's because it's not... This is not Transformers 8. Right, it's not here for you to enjoy. It's for you to experience. So let me ask you a clarifying question. I appreciate that you don't know if you want to watch this again, right? I get that. But let me ask you, are you comfortable recommending that somebody should see it? Is that something that you think would be, for me, I get that. 12 Years a Slave, I feel like that some people... some people may not even want to sit through it. I don't know. Is that the president calling you over and over again? So, 12 Years a Slave is one of those films that I think everybody has to see. Because for all its horror, it's an absolutely stunning film to watch. It's beautiful. And I feel that Moonlight is the same way. It's not horror. what it's dealing with. When I say horror, I don't mean like ghosts and demons and that kind of stuff. Just more the horror, the concept, the conceit of the film. This more the drama and the yearning and the just the difficult. It's not even a difficult experience, but it's not an enjoyable one. But that's not the point. So, would you at least recommend people see it at least once?
Oh yeah, I mean, I if I was implying that I think that you shouldn't see this movie, I that was not my intent. I was giving you my personal opinion on how I felt about it. Now, I definitely think everybody should see it, and I would completely understand if this thing ran away with all kinds of Oscars, because it is a powerful film. But I'm just saying that, point or not, as a consumer, I mean, it's something I'm glad I saw, and again I appreciate it, and I think everybody should check it out because, you know, if you're of the bent that my esteemed co-host is as a cinephile, you'll probably appreciate it. And I think anybody will appreciate it, just how it is good and it is moving and it is, like I said, everything about it is well crafted and well acted and well written. But, you know, the question was, how did I feel about it? And I don't know. I mean, it's not something I'd probably, again, I'm not going to check it out again, but I would definitely recommend everybody going on and seeing it.
There are times, I think, Matt, there are some times, and this is one of those films, that transcends the medium. And I really feel that that's what this is. This film is a work of art. And I think it demands to be seen by everybody. So for me, I feel like this could become a Pantheon film for me at some point.
Wow,
I was that deeply impacted by it. Just the rawness and the emotion, the performances. It's one of those things that just sticks to you, and I couldn't get it out of my head. And the further it's been now since I've seen it, the more I want to see it again. But it's not an enjoyment. It's just I want to relive this experience because it was just so moving. And if that's what you're going for, I'm telling you, man, A+ for me for Moonlight, without a doubt. Lived up to all my expectations. And I had high hopes going into this thing, and which, of course, you're going to set yourself up possibly for failure. But still, it's just stunning. So,
yeah, this is where we get the lit major versus the visual art major appreciator. You know, I would definitely, I'm going to give it an A. I'm not even going to quibble about that. You know, you should certainly see it if you're a fan of cinema. You owe it to yourself to go see it and make your own opinions about it. You know, again, even films that we've seen that I was kind of baffled by, like the Neon Demon, I would go watch the Neon Demon again because I want to see it again just to see how it goes. But I don't know. I mean, maybe I will catch it, but I can't see. I'm not going to run out and like buy this on Blu-ray, or I'm not going to sit down and be like, oh, look, you know, Moonlight's on Netflix. Let's sit there and watch it because it was a transcendent experience. I can see you going out and buying this on day one, and it's going to make it into your rotation of Drive and stuff you watch every year, and you're going to talk about it, and we're going to, in 6 months from now, we're going to have to say you can't talk about Moonlight anymore. And that's fine. That's fine. But, you know, I mean, it's just one man's opinion. One man's very valid and more valid than yours opinion.
You're welcome to think so. All right. If you've got a chance to see Moonlight, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Tell me, what did you think of the best film of 2016 so far? That's right. That's what I'm saying. So far. I still got stuff to see. So,
well,
right.
I mean, considering what 2016's given us, that's a pretty low bar to cross. Let's be honest.
That's a fair point. All right. So we're going to move on and tell you what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday, Matt, and that's going to be December 6th. The lackluster return. Sometimes, you know, it's better just to walk away. And that's Jason Bourne. Matt Damon and Paul Greengrass reunite. I got to tell you, Matt, those two Bourne films that they did, Supremacy and Ultimatum, are fantastic action films. And this one just felt kind of like a cheap, kind of carbon copy of those movies. Not as bad as Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. If you want to hear a fun show, you can listen to my opinion of the Jack Reacher sequel. If you buy it from Target, man, you get 30 minutes of extra content as well, and some behind-the-scenes featurettes, making of stuff, you know, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, Jason Bourne. I gotta admit, I may hold off, because I don't have any of them on Blu-ray. I have the first 3 on DVD. So I think maybe if there's a box set that comes out with all of them, including the Renner one, if I can get it, I think I'm going to max out at $25 on that is what I'd pay. All right.
You listening? You listening to whoever studio put that out? You want this man's money? $25.
That's it.
That's it. Tops.
All right. Coming out as well, the documentary For the Love of Spock, which is the documentary about a little bit about Leonard Nimoy, a little bit about Spock. If you don't want to buy this, don't, because it's actually hitting Netflix at the end of December. It includes an audio commentary by the director, which you can only get if you buy it, and a bunch of behind-the-scenes features on the making of the film, some trailers, stuff like that. Matt, Don't Think Twice is being released. This is the improv movie with Keegan-Michael Key, Gillian Jacobs, Mike Birbiglia, Kate Micucci, Chris Gethard, and Tammy Sager. This is, I believe, the directorial film by Birbiglia, and it's about Keegan-Michael Key's part of this improv group, and he makes it big, and the rest of them are kind of wondering what's going to happen to them and why they haven't. It includes some deleted scenes. You get it from iTunes. I believe they have an exclusive commentary by Birbiglia and some of the stars. Matt, a film that I think we want to check out, Phantasm Ravager, is being released on Blu-ray. Includes an audio commentary with the director David Hartman and writer-producer Don Coscarelli. Some deleted scenes, behind-the-scenes featurettes as well. And then Phantasm, which is a featurette about the bloopers and outtakes. I'm waiting for a box set of that. If I can get all of them together, then I might get it. I think there is one coming. I think part of the issue is that different companies own different films in the series. I think 3 is a different company than 1, 2, and 4 and 5 or something like that. But from what I understand, they've re-released the original Phantasm, which I may as well tell you about now. That's coming out as well. The original one with a new 4K restoration. That includes an audio commentary with Coscarelli and then cast members Michael Baldwin, Angus Scrimm, and Bill Thornbury. Some deleted scenes, vintage interviews from '79. But it's got an all-new transfer on that, so if you wanted to pick up that as well. Rumor has it that there's a box set of all of them coming out early next year, so you may want to hold off on that. In Order of Disappearance, Matt, this is, I believe, a Danish film with Stellan Skarsgård, and he plays an introverted, hardworking snowplow driver and just been named Citizen of the Year when he receives news that his son has died of a heroin overdose. Disbelieving the official report, Nils soon uncovers evidence of the young man's murder, a victim in a turf war between local crime boss known as the Count and his Serbian rivals. And he just kind of goes in and kicks everybody's ass. It's one of those old men revenge films, which I just thoroughly enjoy. And this one's supposed to be pretty good, so that's coming out as well. It's called In Order of Disappearance. New to Blu-ray, Criterion is giving us Heart of a Dog with an all-new high-definition transfer, new conversations with director Laurie Anderson and the co-producer. They're also giving us Exterminating Angel on Blu-ray as well, which has a restored high-definition transfer, some behind-the-scenes featurettes as well, and interviews. And then, Matt, your Mad Max Fury Road Chrome Edition, that includes the black and white version of Fury Road, is officially out that day. If you're looking in to pick that up, I'd like to see it. I don't know if I want to buy it again just to see it, though. I don't know. Where do you come down on the black and white version of Fury Road?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think I definitely wouldn't buy it again, but I want to check it out. I mean, I'd like to see what it looks like, but yeah, I'm not buying it. It's my money. My money. I already gave you my money, George Miller.
Exactly.
Twice.
And don't even get me started on the Star Wars thing. That Force Awakens, that 3D version. I don't know if you've seen it, Matt, but it looks really sweet. And from what we've read, I think we talked about it on the show too, it's worth buying it. I've read just for the audio commentary by J.J. Abrams alone. It's supposed to be fantastic. But it's like $30.
Right. And I don't even want a 3D TV.
Yeah.
Damn you, JJ.
Your straight to DVD pick of the week, Matt. I'm going to give you Murderdrome, Roller Derby Dames. A romantic rivalry turns into supernatural terror, as it often will, as roller derby sensation Cherry Sky unwittingly raises a demon, Murderous, from hell. Trapped between the demon's wrath and the gates of hell, Sky has no option, Matt, but to throw down and sort out the mess in the only way she knows, in the rink, known as the Murderdrome. Equal parts slasher film, action film, romantic comedy. Director Daniel Armstrong's love letter to the 80s cinema will have you chanting in your seats, "Welcome to the Murderdrome." You know anybody that's ever done roller derby?
That is a very odd question. No, I have not, and I'm wondering if you have now. Do you know somebody who's done roller derby? I
certainly do. A lovely young woman named Amy. She actually works at the same dental office my sister does. She's cleaned my teeth a bunch of times. Very nice woman who is a complete badass and does roller derby. So there's that. Anything we should be streaming this week, Matt?
Well, to kind of go along with our post-apocalyptic idea that never got off the ground, and to call back to an earlier show, I went back. We still might do it. I don't. Let's not make promises we can't keep. Okay, Chris.
Yeah, the issue was more slim pickings. We didn't really.
Yeah.
We couldn't really find things easily.
That's very true.
That we hadn't already seen.
That's very true. But something that I have seen that, all that talk, maybe go back and watch it again. It's available on Netflix, is The Road, based off of I believe he won the Nobel Prize for Literature for this novel, written by Cormac McCarthy. Stars Viggo Mortensen and Cody Smith-McPhee, I think, in his first role. And it's basically a feel-good film about a road trip between father and son as they avoid cannibals and try and stay alive and, wander through the ashes of the broken world. And it is, it's got its flaws, but it is an overall a good film to watch.
Yeah, I'd agree. I can't remember. Did they have the baby on the spit in the film? I don't.
No, they skipped that. Yes, they skipped the baby eating, but they did have the pantry full of live people in the basement. So they did have that. So yes,
good times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the holidays are coming around. Gather the family around and watch The Road on Netflix.
Yes, if you really have a fundamentalist family and you want to show what it's going to look like after everybody else is raptured, except the bad people. There you go.
There it is. So Matt, I want to briefly mention something. You've been watching Arrow?
I have to admit that we never finished last season, so we've got like 14 episodes between last season and this season to watch yet.
All right, because I got to tell you, last season I admit I was a little underwhelmed by. This season, I think so far is far superior than last season. Now I'm going to ruin something for you now because you're so behind, but it's your own damn fault.
Okay, got it.
There's a character that just showed up a couple weeks ago on Arrow, and I was floored by how great he is, considering how horrible he was in our straight-to-DVD marathon starring in Kindergarten Cop 2.
Okay.
Dolph Lundgren shows up in Arrow, and he is fantastic.
Oh, okay.
He knocks it out of the park. He's only been in 2 episodes so far, though I'm a week behind myself. But still, it's a lot of fun, and there's a little twist right at the end of the last episode with his character, and I'm just buying it. I'm buying every second of it, and I'm really excited. So I just wanted to say I'm happy that Dolph. Now I can firmly say I'm not going to blame Dolph for Kindergarten Cop 2 at all now. He's totally off the hook for me, because in a small role in Arrow, he's killing it. So there's no way that film is his fault.
All right, well, we'll have to go. Well, maybe we'll do a Dolph Lundgren marathon. We can pull out some Universal Soldiers. I don't see how Red Scorpion. I don't see how one of the great characters of our time, Ivan Drago, could possibly be bad. It really has to be the fault of the script. It can't be him. So I mean,
he's pretty bad in those Expendable movies.
He is, but so is everybody else.
That's the thing. Again, I guess not his fault. Let's stick with that theory.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have to come up with something like that. We'll call it the Drago equation. Actors dragged down by bad films.
There you go.
We'll work that out. We'll work the beats on that out. All right, so that's that. Matt, let's move on to another film, a drastically different film than Moonlight, but still a film that adds the pressure. And I'll explain what that's all about when we get back.
That was bad music, and there is nothing as bad in this world as bad music.
You can record over tapes.
No. That was a novelty act. You want to have actual sexual intercourse, right?
Yeah. Well, what?
The girl. It's all about the girl, isn't it?
Yeah, the girl, yeah.
And you're going to use somebody else's art to get her? Are you kidding?
We're just starting. We need to learn how to play.
Did the Sex Pistols know how to play? You don't need to know how to play. Who are you, Steely Dan? You need to learn how not to play, Connor. That's the trick. That's rock and roll. And that takes practice. And you're not a covers band, by the way.
Really?
No. Every school has a covers band. Every pub has a covers band. Every wedding has a covers band. And every covers band has a middle-aged member who'll never know whether they could have made it in the music industry or not because they never had the balls to write a song for someone else. Rock and roll is a risk. You risk being ridiculed.
But I don't know how to write a song.
Close that door and sit down.
Really?
It's gonna be a long night.
I've school in the morning.
This is school.
So, Matt, that's a clip from Sing Street, the latest film from John Carney, who brought us one of my all-time favorite films, Once, and also Begin Again last year. Was it 2 years ago now? With Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley. Matt, this time we're transported back to, early, mid, well, we'll just say 80s Dublin. And we have a nice kid kind of figuring out, hey, listen, he's in a prestigious school, but his parents are fighting all the time. They have no money. Dad hasn't gotten a commission in a while, right? So they got to pull him out of his prestigious school, put him in the local school instead. And his whole life is turned upside down. And that's when he meets Rafina. And from there, he decides, you know what? This girl, she's gorgeous. She's hanging out on these steps. She says she's a model. So I'm going to go up to her, I'm going to talk to her and tell her, ask her to be in my music video for my band. That does not exist. And then they do a crash course, put a band together. And what you heard was a clip between our star there, Cosmo, or Connor, and his brother, Brendan, played by Jack Rayner. Matt, as I was talking about, we had pressure. And let me tell you why. Moonlight, for me, the best film of 2016. All right, so far. Sing Street, top 3, top 5 for me, I think. I'm telling you, man, this film is fantastic. And I think that's where the pressure is. Now I feel we're halfway through this show, and we have to deliver a fantastic show to live up to the 2 films that we're discussing this week. And I got to tell you, Matt, I don't think I'm up to it. But we're going to try anyway. So we go from pathos and angst and in Moonlight, and now we're going to sidestep over into love and happiness and struggle and conquering and taking those next steps and growing up. This, for me, Matt, is one of the better coming-of-age films I've seen in I don't know how long. I really couldn't tell you. I know I want to see, what is it, The Edge of 17? What's the other one that's out right now as well? That's supposed to be really good. Yeah. But for me, man, this hit all the notes. The 80s music, all the performances in this are rock solid. And I got to tell you, for me, the subtle MVP is going to be Jack Rayner as his brother Brendan. I really felt that role could have gone south real fast. And I almost felt like it was going to in the beginning, that it was going to be too, wise older brother who's there to guide him through. And he actually has a great little speech about halfway through the film as well, maybe closer to the end, that initially I was going to use in the clip, but there's a little profanity in it, so I decided to pass. But I'm telling you, man, I absolutely adored this thing. I wrote my note as absolutely a perfect little film. Where do you come down?
I 100% agree with you. I absolutely loved this film. I was having such a great time. And I think maybe this, I'm going to go out on a limb here. This may have tainted Moonlight for me, because I watched this the day before I went and saw Moonlight, and I had such a good time watching this, and I felt so good after watching it that I was maybe not prepared for the mental anguish I was about to go sit through for Moonlight. But yeah, I'm totally with you. Performances are great. The story is fantastic. It kind of hits our, since we're early 20s hipsters, we really into the 80s and stuff. So it kind of hit all that stuff, for me. And honestly, it's just about a kid who doesn't fit in, and he's trying to impress a girl. So what does he do? He gets into music, and he gets into making a band, and it's funny, and the performances are great. And the key that makes this work is that the original songs are actually pretty good. A lot of these things, the original songs are terrible, or they're the weakest part. These are actually not that bad, and I think that makes a huge difference in this film.
And I think one of the keys about that too is that they're still appropriately amateur in a way, right? They're not too professional, too polished. And I don't just mean the sound quality. I mean the lyrical content and everything. It sounds like it's a bunch of high school kids making songs. I think that's the reason why it's so successful. So I think that's a key too. And at first I was like, man, the songs are kind of high schoolish. And then I'm like, well, yeah, of course they are, Chris. That's the whole freaking point. Right. So I'm glad they didn't go over the top with that at all. And I think another two is the relationship between Connor and Rafina felt very authentic to me as well. I really enjoyed that whole dynamic and her story, living in the girls' home and trying to change her life as well. I just think that Carney really balances everything here perfectly. So I hate to say, I think this is a better film than Once as well. Overall, it's a better film. And I really enjoyed it. It's a great balance, Matt, of fantasy and realism, particularly in the time and the situation in which it's set. So I was smiling and laughing throughout the entire thing. from start to finish. I love too. Every time Connor found a new group, his look would change.
Yeah, yes. Overnight.
I mean, it's gets so many brilliant moments, so many great lines. I can't recommend this enough either, and it's currently available on Netflix for streaming. I'm telling you, all right. So here we are. If you're looking for a piece of art to challenge yourself and really dive into some emotional issues, go to the theater this weekend. Please see Moonlight. Films like that need desperately to be supported. And then afterwards, if you're feeling a little down, you go home, put on Netflix, and then watch Sing Street. And I'm telling you, it is a perfect film, and I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, don't do what I did. Don't reverse that order, or you're gonna have a bad time. But this is a good little, what do the kids say? Netflix and chill, right? So this is a good little date movie for you to throw on while this is going on. And can I ask you a question, Chris? Just to, So obviously the kid who plays Connor, he's actually like 16 when he filmed this. And Rafina is in her early 20s, and she looks like she's in her 20s when you can tell there's a huge discrepancy. So in the film, I know he keeps saying that she's 16, but is she really supposed to be older and not really? She didn't tell him. Is that what the deal is?
No, I don't think so. I think she is supposed to be 16. I think I think they do that. There's a scene in the film too when Rafina's. I think it's when she's back home. I can't remember the exact thing, but she's sitting in her room and taking off her makeup. And at that point, she looks a lot younger when she takes off the makeup. So I think that's part of it is she's so desperate to get a double, and that's why she's got the boyfriend who says he's going to take her to London to start her modeling career. And when that doesn't work out, she's back in her room, she's taking off her makeup, and she drops years in age for me. Because you're right, she looks like she's in her early 20s when you see her, but there's that part when she's taking the makeup off, and she does look like a younger child. So I think that's when Carney is also trying to reinforce her story, how desperate she is that she'll hook up with these older guys just to get out of there, even though she's still a young child herself. So I don't know. That worked. That's how it worked for me.
All right, I've been fixating on that little detail for no reason, but yeah, don't take that as I didn't love this movie. I'm giving this an A. Yeah. My second A. This is probably unless they've really got something for me in the next 3 or 4 weeks of the year, this is probably going to be my top 5 at the end of the year. Spoiler alert. I'm
inclined to agree with you at that point as well. I absolutely love Sing Street. And again, currently on Netflix right now, so you can check it out today. All right, if you've got a chance to see Sing Street, which, as again, you definitely should, shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, I'm going to switch gears on you now completely. Next up, we're going to tell you what you should get for the holidays, for the movie lover in your life. So we went from Moonlight to Sing Street, and now it's going to get a little darker. So enjoy.
You the only one who made it?
Not the only one.
Did you kill it?
Where were you, Charles?
Thought I saw Blair. I went out after him. Got lost in the storm. Fire's got the temperature up all over the camp. Won't last long, though.
Neither will we.
How will we make it?
Maybe we should.
If you're worried about me.
If we've got any surprises for each other, I don't think we're in much shape to do anything about it.
Well, what do we do?
Why don't we just wait here for a little while? See what happens.
So, Matt, there's a popular theory, and of course that's a clip from John Carpenter's The Thing. There's a popular theory that you can tell that Childs is one of the aliens, or is an alien, because there is a scene where you can see, during that scene, you can see Kurt Russell's breath as he's talking. And you can't see Childs' breath. So clearly that means Childs has been duplicated. Not true. There's a scene previous to that whole segment. There's a part where you can kind of see Child's breath, and Carpenter himself has said that's not true. That was never his intent. It's just the way the lighting worked. You couldn't really see it. You actually do see his breath. And there's the other one too, where McCready hands him the liquor, but it's actually not booze. It's gasoline, and Childs drinks it, and that's his tip off. But I think Carpenter has kind of poo-pooed that as well. So I don't know. Where do you come down? Has Childs been duplicated or not?
I was a big subscriber to that theory. I like that theory. Honestly, I don't know why Carpenter poo-pooed it, because even if it wasn't his intent, I would have just left it ambiguous and we would have all given him way more credit, because it took us 20, 30, 40 years to figure this out. So I don't know. I mean, I can see it either way. I think it's more fun to think that pick out those little details. But yeah, I understand that Carpenter has ruined it for everybody. So thanks, John.
All right, so we're going to tell you what we think you should be picking up for the holiday lover, the movie lover, in your holiday list, Matt. That's my number 5, and that's the Scream Factory release of The Thing Blu-ray. A whole new 2K scan of the interpositive, supervised and approved by the director of photography, Dean Cundy. A new 4.1 audio mix includes all new commentary by Cundy, as well as the co-producer Stuart Cohen. Includes the original commentary by John Carpenter and Kurt Russell, and about a day's worth of extras as well. I mean, you could spend a whole day watching everything on this. It includes the television version of The Thing, though unfortunately in standard definition. The TV version actually has a weird introduction where it introduces all the characters. There's outtakes, the return of the documentary that's feature-length called The Thing, Terror Takes Shape, that was lost on the Blu-ray release, used to be on the original DVD release. But possibly the greatest horror film ever made, with a fantastic package from Scream Factory. So that's my number 5, The Thing.
So I had that on my list too, but I took it off because I knew you were going to put it on there. So to avoid duplication, I removed it. But it is a fantastic movie. I think collectively it's one of our favorite movies. Mm-hmm. I think both of us, yeah. So I mean, obviously, it's got to be one of the greatest movies of all time if we both think so. So all right, so my number 5. So there you may have heard, we may have talked about it once or twice, but there's a little movie called Star Wars Rogue One coming out. Star Wars is becoming it's becoming a behemoth again, and it doesn't show any signs of stopping since Disney bought it out. But they are releasing a Star Wars art of Ralph McQuarrie coffee table book. If you're not familiar, Ralph McQuarrie did all of the and I'm embarrassed to say this, I'm drawing a blank, concept art for the Star Wars films. And a lot of it is, before they had done a lot of the casting, really before they had done anything. So you can kind of see some of these early designs, like with Luke, he's got a breath mask, because he came from a desert planet and stuff like that. And it's really, really cool. And his art is really, it's something really interesting to see for the Star Wars fan. And I think it all being collected in one place in this really nice package is something that you should get for somebody that you really like, since it's being sold for the low price of $250. So if there's somebody that you really, really like, or you just have a lot of money that you want to waste, give me a call and I will tell you where I live and you can send this to me.
There you go. Yeah, that's actually my number 4 as well, as the McQuarrie book. It looks absolutely fantastic, man. In fact, I cheated and I made a whole Star Wars column for my number 4. So I don't know if I should get through mention any of it, because I'm afraid you may be bringing up some other stuff. So what I'll do is I'll pocket the rest of them as honorable mentions, or I'll go back to it, and then once we're done. But the Star Wars art by McQuarrie book is fantastic. It looks so cool. So I would love to. I like the Criterion one. Is it called Designs, where it's all the artwork from Criterion? That's a beautiful book, and that was only $60. So what's going on there?
Yeah, seriously. Disney. It's all Disney.
I tell you. All right, so what's your number 3 then? Or 4? 4.
My number 4. So I'm going to be butchering this, and I am embarrassed that I can't remember this guy's names, but cool little thing. It's a melting I think it's Tot candle, which is the bespectacled guy from Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's the scene at the end where his face basically melts from opening the Ark, and it's starts off he's in a twisted rictus, and you light the candle, and the wax melts his face as you go through. So I think that is a fantastic little thing to have on your desk for the morbid movie fan in your life. I think I might put one in my daughter's stocking.
Nice. I'm sure she'll appreciate that. But
she will.
I saw
cool.
that. It was pretty cool too. I enjoyed that. So, all right, my number 3 then is going to be the Del Toro trilogy from Criterion, collecting Kronos, Devil's Backbone, and Pan's Labyrinth, all 3 Blu-rays from Criterion. Fantastic releases, each one of them, especially the new Pan's Labyrinth set. So you should Google that out. You can find it on Blu-ray.com as well. They have the whole breakdown of it, but it's a beautiful little box set. All 3 films with all the special features from the previous releases. And as a Del Toro fan, I would love to pick it up, except that I own Kronos and Devil's Backbone already. So I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and pick up the set. Maybe I'll try and sell them and then get all of them at once. I don't know. But if you don't have any of them, now's your big chance, and this is the way to get it. So that's my 3.
All right, my number 3. I think Chris. I think my esteemed co-host here is going to get irritated with me because most of my other selections are kind of stupid and fun, not very serious like the rest of them, like what Chris is picking out here. But my third one is the greatest idea ever: a Die Hard coloring and activity book for $15 makes a good stocking stuffer. Perfect for Christmas because, as we all know, Die Hard is a Christmas film, and you may need to color in. To give to your kids the consequences of running around over bare glass without your shoes on and pulling out the shards from your foot. So that's something that we all need in our lives. I'm hoping I would love to get this. So Chris, I know you're thinking of me constantly. So
right.
I'll you can skip the Star Wars book for $250. Just get me the Die Hard coloring and activity book for $15.
Okay, that's a much better compromise, I have to say. My number 2 is Pop Chart Lab. Are you familiar with Pop Chart Lab, Matt?
I am not.
So they do posters and prints of charts, but a lot of it is, some of it's pop culture, and one of them is movies. Like one of them is an illustrious omnibus of superpowers. So it's like basically a circular chart of people's powers and names and how they got them. There's another one called Assembled, which is a list of, it's got basically symbols, the heads, but stylized, of every Avenger and who the Avenger was per issue of the Avengers in the comics. They have a map of the events in The Great Gatsby, what occurs through the arcs of that book or film, magical objects of the wizarding world, so all the objects in the Harry Potter world and what they do and mean. It's just artwork that represents, though, their charts for movies and stuff. There's other websites that do this, but I think Pop Chart Lab seems to be the top end of it. There's one called Fantastical Fictive Beers, which is just beer cans or bottles from different movies and television shows and stuff. So yeah, if you had a chance to check it out, it's popchartlab.com. They got lots of cool little stuff like that. So that's my number 2. I think it'd be a fun little print to have.
That's pretty cool. I like that one. Good job, Chris.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so again, to keep up with my ridiculous holiday gift giving guide here, I saw this and I had to throw it on here. I'm sorry. You can get a throw pillow cover of Nicolas Cage dressed up as a general, and it is a majestic airbrush masterpiece. $16 from Society 6. I swear, if these aren't given out by Trump or something as a thank you to all of his voters, I don't know what's wrong with America, because this is the most fantastic thing I've seen in a really long time. And this is one of those things that I would buy just to spite everyone in my life, and I would make sure it was prominently displayed somewhere in the house. And if it ever got moved, I would have something to say about it.
I saw the Cage pillow. I was wondering if you'd actually go down that road, but so thanks.
How could you not, Chris? I mean, I'm only more upset that there's not more of them. Why isn't there one where he's the bees and stuff like that, or where he's in Face Off with his all crazy face? Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's fantastic.
Why not? All right, my number 1.
Where's your sense of fun? Where's your sense of Christmas wonder, Chris?
I just don't have it anymore. All right, My number one, then, Matt, I think is pretty obvious. And it's going to be an annual subscription to Filmstruck and the Criterion Channel. If you're not aware, Turner Classic Movies and Criterion have teamed up to provide a streaming channel. So if you want just Filmstruck, which is basically a streaming access to Turner Classic Movies, that's $7 a month. You want to add in the Criterion library, which you should. That's $11 a month. Or you can spend $100 for an annual subscription. This is one of the things I'm hoping to get for the holidays from the missus or the family. We'll see. I'm not confident. But we'll see. But yeah, to have access to almost Criterion's entire library via streaming. And here's the cool thing about the Criterion channel, Matt, is that they're going to include special features. So like you'll be able to watch a film with a director's audio commentary through the streaming service. And you can get it through Roku and pretty much all your streaming devices you can get it through. So, and the TCM, the Filmstruck one, is also going to have some rare footage and special features as well. And they'll be kind of constantly refreshing that library. But for me, the holy grail is getting Criterion's library via streaming, including all this, not all, but a high percentage of the special features that they're known for is a no-brainer for me. So that's why that's my number one.
All right, Chris, I hate to crush your Christmas hopes and dreams here, but I have something to tell you. None of you, especially your wife, does not support your movie obsession here. She knows that if she got you the Criterion Collection, you would sit there and you would be like locked in your room or in for months at a time, and you would be this unwashed creature that would emerge after you'd watch all of it. Yeah, so they're not going to support it. In fact, you're coming up here and we're going out to dinner. It's not actually a dinner; it's an intervention. They just talked you into thinking that this was your idea.
I'm not surprised.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's understandable.
Nobody supports it like I do, Chris. So we'll see. All right. So my number one, I saw these and I thought they were pretty cool. These are movie posters for sequels that just never existed. So some artists got out there, made some movie posters for obviously sequels or films that never happened, like Blade Runner 2054 or Matilda the Professional 2.
We're getting a Blade Runner sequel now.
Well, we are now. But they're out on im8bit.com. A lot of them are pretty cool. I don't even know how some of them would work as films, like Reservoir Dogs 2, but the poster looks really cool, so you should go out and check them out. Now, unfortunately, they run the gamut because this is all, small artists. They range from like 20. I think the most expensive one I saw was like $75 or $100. But you should go check it out. It's even if you're just looking at it online, they are pretty cool to kind of see what might have been, and hopefully they'll keep producing more.
Yeah, I think I actually had that as a pick like 3 years ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I remember.
Well,
seeing that.
How could I possibly forget that?
Clearly you did. All right, so the other things I mentioned, and you didn't bring it up, which I think is interesting. Star Wars is releasing, they're going to release 3 Star Wars Topps books, Matt. So they're going to be Star Wars, Empire, and Return of the Jedi. Remember the trading cards from when we were kids? Well, they put them all in a book.
Yeah,
so
I did see those.
Get the artwork for that. I thought
cool.
that was pretty cool. And then, of course, the other big thing, which I'm shocked wasn't your number one, is the Han Solo jacket. For a mere $180, you can buy the Han Solo jacket from The Force Awakens.
That was also pretty sweet. That was actually really, really sweet. But it's even cheap. You get this awesome leather, pimp jacket for $180. You can't even get the friggin' book of Ralph McQuarrie art for $250. What the hell's up with that?
Yeah, I don't quite understand that either. I agree. So those are the other honorable mentions, Star Wars things that I had as well. So awesome. If there's anything else, go ahead.
Now everybody in the world knows, and by everybody I mean the 3 people who listen to this, knows what we want for Christmas.
There it is. Congratulations. Well, don't get me the thing. I already own it. All right, just so you know, I have the thing. Just focus on the Criterion streaming channel, and I'll take all 3 of the Star Wars. No, you know what? I don't need the Star Wars jacket. I'm still a little too husky to be wearing that. I look like an idiot. So I'm going to pass on the Han Solo jacket for now. We'll see what happens. All right, Matt, next week, you've seen Fantastic Beasts. I would like to see it. I want to see Allied still. I still want to go see Loving. There's a lot going on. So we'll see what we end up seeing. I'm definitely going to go see Allied. I'll put that out there. So if you want to check out Allied, but I will try and squeeze in Fantastic Beasts as well, because I know you've already seen it. What else? We're going to start our Asian horror marathon, which will be interesting to try and find some Asian horror films we haven't seen. Beginning with Train to Busan, which is currently available via iTunes. But Matt, right now only to purchase. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Maybe we can find something to squeeze in for a little bit in case that does eventually come down so you can rent it. Or, I don't know, look it up on Amazon, Matt. Maybe it's on Amazon to rent. Sometimes there's different options.
Sure.
We'll go from there. In the meantime, shoot us an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. We'd love to hear from you. Check us out on Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. Matt, did you see what Netflix started doing today?
I did. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Netflix, as of today, if you update your app on your phone, you can now download content to watch offline, which is a huge deal, and there's no extra cost. It doesn't matter what plan you have, you can do it. And I think that is fantastic that they're doing that. I'm very excited because I'm going on a plane ride tomorrow, so I'm really excited about this. Perfect timing, Netflix. And the fact that they've added it at no additional cost, I think is great. Now, I hope it stays that way.
Yeah.
But still, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that was a good decision by Netflix?
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that the content owners let them do that. Because I mean, I haven't really looked into it too much. There's no restrictions, like there's not like a limit on how many you can download or anything like that.
It's not the entire library. There's certain things that you can do. In fact, one of the weird ones was Luke Cage is not downloadable, which I thought was odd.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's not everything. If you open up your app on your phone, you'll see there's an option to check out downloadable content.
Okay.
So you can filter right to it, which I think is smart. So yeah, I'm really excited about it then. All right, Matt, you ready for your question?
I am.
I just have to figure out which one. All right, here we go. So you have action, adventure, drama, musical, or horror, sci-fi.
Let's go horror, sci-fi.
What was a 2012 prequel to Alien called?
Prometheus.
Yes, it was. Man, these are easy.
Yeah, they are.
Congratulations. All right.
Seriously.
We have to start going to something a little harder somehow. All right. Well, as usual, we peter out at the end. Thanks everybody for listening. I think we've done justice to Moonlight and Sing Street, clearly. Yeah. Two of the best films of 2016. Check them both out. And that's a big show for this week, Matt. Let's take an extended break, and we'll see everybody in a week.
We'll use the Force. That's not how the Force works.